Hey, this is your host, Anthony Tank Mansfield. Your with me today is
Jeff Rickels.
and
Justin Tyler.
this is What You Into.
What you into? What you into?
Hey, we're back in the basement. But this feels kind of weird because we didn't leave. We've literally been. Listener, I'm going to pull back the curtain. We hit pause. I went and got a couple beers. I took a piss. We're back. But we're chopping this episode up because, again, wow, guys, this thing is gigantic. Jeff, Justin, again, thank you both for jumping on this odyssey with me.
Absolutely.
As we go into the catalog of the PlayStation 2.
I'm still a little confused if this makes me Dale Earnhardt or Four Horsemen at this point. Because we paused and I did get up and I came back.
You're now Dale Flair.
Okay, Dale Flair. Woo! Y'all.
Hey, now I'm Dale.
Jeff, where can the people find you at on IG?
You can find me at Jeff Kuma, JEFFKUMA, or my band Newport Secret 6, as I mentioned last time. Secret 6, Newport Secret number 6 on Instagram, if I can remember it.
Nice. And Justin, where can the fine folks find you at?
You can find me at JN Tyler or by searching for the Cupful Podcast.
Nice. All right, guys, let's jump back in. So, Rockstar, we left off talking about the Grand Theft Auto trilogy on the PS2. Let's go into some of the other stuff that Rockstar came out with during this time period. First and foremost, after GTA 3, they make State of Emergency, which is just basically you playing in a fucking riot.
Yeah. I was so hyped for this game. And it was, I had a lot of fun with my friends, my friend Chris, especially. I remember playing that game a lot. But it was one of those, we were so hyped for it, all the screenshots, and it's you're in a, like you said, you're in a riot. There's I wouldn't say 100 people on screen at a time, for the PS2, but there was a lot of characters on screen, a lot of mayhem you could cause, and it was fun, but it kind of lost it real quick for me, but it was definitely a holy shit, I got to get this game. I have to play that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually one of the ones that Rockstar put out around that time that I never played.
I think there was two, or I think the second one came out, or if it didn't, but yeah,
I think there was eventually a second one. It was, again, it's a very classic story of Rockstar where it was controversial because it was, we're going to let you play in a riot. And of course, people, the LA riots was not that far in people's rear view at that time. And people were like, what do you mean you're having people play in a riot?
It's riot simulation.
Yeah,
let's go.
And they also, kind of like what you said, Jeff, is in terms of stuff being on screen and it's kind of clunky a little bit. This is definitely a version of a game where this crawled so that Dead Rising could walk, eventually what is it? Days Gone could run. Sony, quit fucking around with not giving me that goddamn Days Gone sequel. That game fucking rips. I don't know what your problem is. I know that when it first came out, Metacritic killed it, and it wasn't the completed game, but they fixed that shit, and it rocks. It's so much fun. Having 75 to 100 freakers plus coming after you, and then you're having to shoot these things in the face as you run around and lead them through traps, and a really good storyline, and also just a massive game.
Oh, yeah.
80, 90-hour game.
Just think of what they could do on the PS5 with this game. They hit the PS4 limitations.
Yeah.
I hope it happens.
I hope it happens.
I love the game focused around a motorcycle too, that being your main
transportation. I kind of felt like Daryl Dixon.
For some reason, the first time, just having to walk your bike was kind of a cool thing. Well, I'm out of gas.
Yeah.
I don't,
It's the
I got to get my bike out of here. Yeah. It's a good game.
I feel very Bon Jovi in that game. I'm like on a steel horse, I ride.
The game, when it first came out, and I did finally play it, and I did actually like it, but it was okay, so it's The Walking Dead meets Sons of Anarchy, put in a video game.
Exactly.
Okay, sure.
Which that was my first thought when I first saw it. I was like, oh, it's Walking Anarchy, sick.
Yeah, right,
I'm this storyline's gonna be great, and the storyline's okay. I mean, it's nothing that's blowing my mind, but at the same time, I just really love the gameplay of that game and what you can do. And I do like the idea of like the factions and little pockets of civilization having like their own like rules and laws and honor systems and stuff, you know, where like if you go to this place over here, this guy's like, I'm the freedom guy and you should be free.
Right.
But then if you go over here, it's like a weird work camp plantation thing where it's like, yeah, we'll let you live here, but you got to do all this farming for us. Or we just sit around and make sure that like, you know, nothing invades the place and we shoot you in the head or you shoot those things in the head. And it's like, this is not as fun.
It's not just copy paste NPCs. Like these are like living, breathing AI.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, everybody in that game definitely has a personality, and it's so cool. It is a rich world. So,
I mean, the zombie hordes, like you said, I mean, they're kind of incredible, you know, like the way they look and the way they all move, and like, you know, it'd be like that once the scene where you're in like the lumber mill.
Oh, yeah, the
lumber mill. Yeah, it's kind of terrifying a little bit. Like,
yeah, the idea of dying in a mosh pit sucks, and that's exactly what happens in that game.
Right.
Like 30 shirtless dudes are like, "Hate breed," and then they just like run at you, and you're like, "Oh shit!" Like this sucks.
I need to play this game again while listening to some just really heavy shit because that's not the vibe that the game puts off at all. But now I want that.
Yeah, a bunch of 35-year-old guys with at least 1 or 2 felonies. Like, this is my time, and it's like, oh shit, okay.
Well, fuck, I'm gonna re-experience with the soundtrack of my choice.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got to get out of Days Gone. We got to get back to
Go back in time
to other Rock. We got to get back to Rockstar games.
yeah, we have to cover more than 3 games. Like we did last time.
We're picking them off as we go. But yeah, I guess my exclamation point or my final takeaway from the State of Emergency game is like, it's almost like a cool simulation thing where it's like, all right, this was cool for like 10 minutes, but there's nothing really deep there. It's just like, all right, like there's a bunch of things on screen. I can run around, I can bop this guy in the head and bop that guy in the head, and I can shoot this dude with that. And then I'm just kind of like, all right, what's the point?
Well, I think a lot of what Rockstar was doing at this time was they were kind of just using these games as almost like tech demos or kind of samples of like what was to come. Like they were testing out different things that they would then turn around and use in their bigger series. Right. So you have games like Midnight Club. I think I had mentioned that being one of the first games that I saw on the PlayStation 2 in the last episode. You know, like Midnight Club being like this kind of just open world car, like kind of street racing game, and like then they come out with Grand Theft Auto shortly after, and it incorporates a lot of those elements into it. So I think that's kind of where they're at, is they're not really looking for real in-depth games, but just kind of these small pocketed experiences that they can then expand upon.
It also makes sense to make that jump from Midnight Club where it's like, hey, now that we got this thing where it's like, you're not just going to a racetrack, you can drive around the city and find stuff. What if we push that to like with a dude walking around, you know, and you can start
Get out
to
of the
see
car?
that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and to jump off that with another one of their games, Smuggler's Run, which was made by the same people, Angel Studios, like that game, I remember being one of those first like open world vehicle games that I ever played. Like, and it's a blast because you're using like dune buggies and Hummers and like, you know, all kinds of off-road vehicles and, you know, big trucks and stuff, and like just ramping off of things. And like, I mean, they would give you like a freestyle mode where you could just, you know, drive around this giant world. And like, I love that stuff, you know, like, yeah.
Well, and I think it's cool of having those games, especially with the racing stuff and the driving stuff, where it's like, hey man, like the physics engine is the physics. It's the same way the physics are in the real world. So like if you're driving around like a monster truck or a semi, that's going to feel way different than driving around in like a Honda Civic. Right. You know, like there's definitely going to be different agility, different torque, different power, speed, and it's cool to get to experiment that. And then on top of it again, go where you want, fuck around, do whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a sucker for good physics in a game. I mean, that's, you know, I guess a lot of people are, but like, you know, I love games to look pretty, but like gameplay for me, like that's the most important, you know, how does it feel good? Like, does it feel good to jump off all these hills and, you know, or drive around the city and, you know, Midnight Club Dub Edition. That's the one I always think of.
That was
like
3,
yeah. Yeah, those games were fun too.
Red Dead Revolver.
Oh yeah, so Red Dead Revolver was the kind of the predecessor to the Red Dead Redemption series.
Yeah.
It's honestly, if I went back a couple of years ago and attempted to play this, and it's very rough. But one thing that they kind of do in it is there was the just the kind of like the Deadeye system like mechanic that they then kind of perfected in Red Dead Redemption. Like that's where it got its start. Like the stories don't have anything tied to each other, but you're still an outlaw out in like I think it's like 1880s, like in the West, and it kind of sets up a lot of the gameplay mechanics and like the type of storytelling that they would then kind of jump into a little bit more with Red Dead Redemption.
Because people do want to try to make like was Uncle Red Harlow?
That
Like the thing was though about that game is like the fact that they gave him 3 stars, just like John Marston got, but it's like it's not John Marston. Like it'd be cool if it was, but it's not.
Yeah, there's a lot of game theories trying to connect those games all together and everything. But yeah, like there was it was another example of like Red Dead Revolver had to crawl so that Red Dead Redemption 2 eventually would fucking just blast off into space and be the most immersive game ever created.
And that was another game with a fantastic soundtrack. Like, because they very much played up that like spaghetti western, Italian. Yeah, it's.
Oh yeah, very much. It like takes inspiration from like all the like Sergio Leone like spaghetti westerns and everything, and it's just it's phenomenal. Like I think this is one of those examples of like this was not an open world game like you think of when with like Red Dead Redemption. Like it was a very linear kind of like level based game. Like I think there was like a central town that you could walk around. It was
basically just a third person shooter game. That you would because I mean you weren't really on like on rails or anything, but like it kind of had that feeling almost like there's just
It always surprised me like how little Western games we have, like especially before, because like I remember playing Gun, and I remember I played Gun, and then I was like, Red Dead Revolver is probably like Gun, but then other than that, like Sunset Riders by Capcom. I mean, I'm really having a hard time thinking of like Western games.
Red Steel on the Wii. Did you ever play that?
No.
It was kind of like it was pseudo Western kind of like theme, but also like samurai. Like you've got like guns and swords, and you had the Motion Plus controller. I think they released the Motion Plus like the expansion pack that would kind of steady it a little bit. They released that for the second game because it was so like that was one of the criticisms in the first one. It was so hard to control.
Yeah, it just surprised me that like more people have not created Western games. I mean, at this point now with Red Dead, it's like, well, now there's no need to. What I mean, it's already been written. But that was just forever. It was just like, hey man, this is hanging out here. Nobody's really touching the idea of having like a Western video game. If somebody wants to do it, you can. And then Rockstar jumped on it and was like, yeah, we're gonna keep doing this because Westerns are just such a big part of American movie lore. It's just something that so many people love. People have touch points with it. It's a very American story. Like it's a cool thing.
I mean, and going from Red Dead Revolver to Red Dead Redemption 1 is almost like going from GTA 1 and 2 to GTA 3, where it was like, oh my god, like they give you this whole world, this 3D world to walk around and do just about whatever you want. And
not to mention between those two games, you're also jumping forward almost 40 years. Like that's another thing with Red Dead Redemption 2 and 1. It actually takes place after the turn of the century. It's kind of like a story about like the death of the outlaw and cowboys and kind of that culture dying off. I think they could easily go back a little, like go back to like the 1860s, like Civil War era, and like their story, like they reference it through side quests and things. Like they have characters that like they fought in the war, and like there's a guy in Red Dead Redemption 2 that like you kind of you can give him a hug, and he's like missing I think an arm or a leg or
Mickey.
something.
I remember I played that game so much I remember his name. Like
you feel bad for the guy, but like there's so much story that they could tell in like the late 1800s that like they just haven't explored. Like both of their main games take place in the 20th century.
And especially outside of like the Wild West, after the Civil War, in terms of like what you're taught in America history, it's like and the Civil War happened, and then like I don't know 40 years passed or whatever, and then Ford made the car, and it's like wait, what happened like from 1860 to like 1895? I don't know, something gold rush or something. I don't know.
I remember thinking that the first time playing Red Dead Redemption, and when like one of the Pinkertons or the federal agents like show up like in a car, and it was like first it's like wait a second, it's a cowboy game. Like it is 1911 or whatever it is. Like there were cars around. But
you don't really think of that as being
it's like you're so used to riding around a horse so much in the game. So like oh no, there is a car. Like,
I want to go back into like true Western time though. Like give me that Rockstar. That'll be another 10 years.
They'll get to it. Can we talk about Rockstar's forgotten game, The Warriors? I feel like people always forget about this game, and it's a sleeper hit.
It's one I have not played, unfortunately.
So Yeah, so Warriors, I have played Warriors. There was so the PS2 for me, it was this era where the video store so I lived in a small town. We had
Same.
a video store
Yep.
that wasn't like a Blockbuster. It was just like a small family owned video store.
Leisure time video.
And PS2 was the first console that they really like had games that you could rent. So I was sampling a lot more games because PlayStation 2 was releasing so many fucking games. I was able to go up and sample ones all the time that I maybe like had never played, or I might rent it for a night or two and play a little bit of it, or I might keep it for a week and finish the game. But the Warriors, like, what a great fucking like retelling of the film The Warriors. I mean, it's kind of like the concept is like it's the same as the movie. Like you're trying to fight your way across New York City to get back to Coney Island, and like you're taking on like rival gang members. It's kind of like a beat 'em up style game, and it was a fun one. And like the cut scenes and the voice acting, like, and all of that kind of like, it just made you feel like, it honestly made you feel like you were watching, like, it wasn't a tie-in film for a current movie. It was a movie that was released in 1979.
Yeah, it was interesting because of like in the Warriors you don't really get to meet the characters that much, and the game really fleshes them out.
Yes,
and so you get
it kind of adds to that lore.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, this is really cool. Like I didn't see this guy this way in the movie, you know, and it just
you can spend so much more time. With,
Yeah.
So at the age that I was when that game came out, I had never seen the movie. I rented the game though, and I fucking loved it. So I went back and watched the movie almost immediately after, and like I fell in love with it. It's so cool.
It's such a good movie. It's
such a cool game.
Yeah, and also it's a movie that lends itself to a game. I mean,
I was gonna say,
how easy can you make that plot? Like stage 1, an assassination attempt happens that you're blamed for, and now you got to work your way over 8 levels across New York to get back to Coney Island, all the while fighting these distinctive looking gangs along the way.
And you have a narrator like the whole time that can just guide you through the game.
And tell you where to go and what to do.
It's definitely it's worth checking out.
Yeah. Did they do like re-release that or remaster that?
I'm sure they have done some kind, maybe not like a full like remaster, but like maybe like an upscaled version that they did on like maybe PS3 or PS4.
Because that is kind of the unfortunate thing about these older games. Like Sony does a little bit, you know, like they have their classics catalog, and like a lot of them though have been spiffed up some, and it's like, well, I kind of want to play, you know, I kind of want to play the originals more for certain games, but
there's this is the thing for me that kind of gets me with the PlayStation 2 originals versus the remasters. I actually, in a lot of cases, I know a lot of people like they tend to like, oh, like the original, like go back and play the original, it's better. Like for me, unless you have a CRTV to play them on, there is a huge difference between interlaced compression and progressive like scan progression. Like so, like you have like a 480i resolution where like you're loading every other line of resolution at a time, and it gets weird with like the motion blur and everything. And when you try to play those types of games on a modern TV that is set up for a progressive scan where you have all these individual pixels and everything, it just looks weird.
It does.
And that's why like I appreciate, like I'm not about to have a fucking CRT. We talked about this. Go back and listen to the electronics episode that Tank and I had. Like I'm not about to have another CRTV in my home. Like as much as I sometimes I feel like I kind of want it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not fucking with that.
Well, until they give me, you know, Smuggler's Run remastered, like, you know, I would suffer through it a little bit, but you are right there.
There are
PS2 games don't look good on 4K TVs now.
There are converter like pieces that you can buy third party that like do really good upscaling and kind of like they cut down on that, so it gives you a little bit better experience than just straight up plugging it right into your TV. But I haven't looked into that too much yet. But
I view people that got the CRTs right now. Like, remember back in the day, now obviously you can go to like fucking Target or Walmart and you can buy like the shorty Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade system. But back like a decade ago, you go to somebody's house and they would have an arcade game. There didn't matter what it was, like NBA Jam, Mortal Kombat, whatever. They was just like, oh shit, you got that. When I walk people's house, they have like a CRT set up with like a whole retro station. I'm like, okay, cool, let's go.
I think my wife might kill me a little. I might just come home with one day, and then it'll sit there until we eventually decide to fucking throw that thing out the window.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, it'll take both of you, you know, too. Because I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
That's the other thing about those TVs; they're so
fucking heavy.
giant and heavy. And
that's how you get her. You just get like.
Well, I can't lift this on my own, so you're either gonna have to help her. It stays here.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get. Like
how did you get it down here? Like, well.
Yeah, definitely. Get like a 30-inch Toshiba, put that thing up. She's gonna need a fucking pry bar to even like flip it. Like, there's no way she's getting out. Yeah. All right, let's pop over to Bully. So Bully, I think I might have played like 5 minutes of it. I never got into it. Either of you guys a bully dude?
Yeah. So have you?
A little, like one of my friends had it. I remember borrowing it a bunch, and I don't think I've ever finished it. Like I liked it, but it wasn't quite. I don't know. No, you know.
So
what I
Bully was one of those games I played. I played through the whole thing in the initial, like when it originally released. I did try to. I was gonna go back. I got it on the PS4. They did do a remaster version on the PS4, and I did try to like play back through that. Kind of lost interest a little bit at that point when I was playing it.
I did the same thing.
Yeah. But I remember loving this game. So like not so much for the gameplay, but for the kind of the story that it tells. So I remember there was a lot of controversy surrounding it just because like the name of the game is Bully. And people were like, oh, so you're teaching kids how to like simulate bullying and blah, blah, blah. Like it's kind of an anti-bullying tale. Like you have this kid that gets like, he's a troublemaker. He's a troubled kid, gets thrown into this boarding school. And he's like, you know, he's trying to work his way up through like the different like cliques and everything and like the different like groups within the school so that he could actually put a stop to bullying.
Yeah, it's interesting how on the like Rockstar is always edgelords. The basic premise of their game is just always like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And then they explain the premise, and you're like, oh, that's a really intelligent way to do that.
Yeah.
But you actually got to get to that point first before you're just automatically turned off by what they put out to begin with.
But you would think that like a game where like you're going to class, like you have to go to class, like you'd think that a game like that, like people would like it'd be annoying, but like I don't know, I had a lot of fun playing that game.
And they nailed the look of the main character. What was his name? Billy?
I forget.
Jimmy.
Yeah. But I mean, he looks like a bully, like
Yeah,
the shitty kid in school that
the short, close cropped hair, kind of like the punched in like pug nose kind of thing. Like very like always scowling, like not open eyes, like just kind of. Meh.
But in this private boarding school, he's the bullied, like,
right?
And
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's sticking up for these other like just kind of weird ass kids that are getting bullied even worse, and like he's their messiah. So no, it's I mean it's a cute game. It's fun.
And again, it's a cool concept where like Rockstar taking risk, and it usually pays off because this is a game for a lot of people they really love. Because again, it's just something they haven't done, you know, and there's some freedom with it.
Yeah.
Guys, let's talk about the most edgelordiest of edgelordy game that Rockstar's ever made, Manhunt.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about controversy.
Guys, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing, guys?
Go ahead. I've been talking so much.
That was one of the first times when like I remember being, however old I was when whatever year that game came out, and like playing the game and being like, I don't think I should be playing this. Like I think I might be too young for this. Like Brian Cox yelling at me over an intercom, like telling me to murder a guy with a plastic shopping bag, and like in your head, you're like wearing the headset, and he's
So was this
game.
Rockstar Toronto?
I think
so. I do remember reading a story at one point that the studio that made Manhunt actually like there was almost a mutiny in which they were going to walk out and not finish the game. And a lot of this, like, you think that, workers of Rockstar, like, they're used to controversy. But I think the difference was with, like, games like Grand Theft Auto, they were able to hide behind the controversy, or, like, hide behind the fact that it's parody.
Yeah.
Whereas, in this scenario, you kind of have this, like, this is, like, this death row inmate.
It's gritty and real and,
murder simulation.
Yeah.
This is not a comedy. This is a drama. Like he means this, we mean this.
Right.
Yeah, and you were right. It was made by Rockstar North, who put it out in 2003. And just also like the whole thing with this was just like the sneaking, and I think Jeff, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Where it's like you would just sneak up on people and then you would like choke them out with bags and stuff and murder.
Right.
It felt weird, man. And I'm with you. Like I'm usually into pretty hardcore shit, and I've seen a lot of weird stuff, and I've played a lot of weird stuff, but this is just one where I'm like, this is this is when I sat down and watched Cannibal Holocaust for the first time, and I was just like, God damn, dude, can this movie please be over? Like, I know I need to check it off just so when it comes up in conversation, I can also go, yeah, dude, it's fucking gross. I'm watching that.
And it's kind of one of those games, like when parents are mad about video games, like, I mean, you're kind of right about that one. Like, I get it. I get it a little bit, you know. But I mean, it's also, you know, that was Rockstar too at the time. Like, you know, there's so many, you know, literally like congressional hearings about video games and oh shit, what's his name?
Wasn't this
Droopy Joe that just passed away not too long ago? But
Shit, what's his
Joe
name? Lieberman.
Joe Lieberman, yes, yeah, he was one of the big ones. But like, and then Rockstar's like, oh yeah, you want to be mad about something? Check this game out. Yeah.
Well, what's funny? So this game also ended up getting itself into like post release, getting itself into some controversy. Like in England, it was implicated in like a murder case. There was a 17-year-old who murdered his 14-year-old friend, and they found this game like in his room, and like it just that drew the wrong kind of heat, I think.
Right.
Rockstar had go away heat with that.
Yeah, they had X-Pac heat. There.
I mean, they still made a sequel to it too, though. You know?
They did, which is
Fuck it. Everyone hates us at this point.
which is also just like, again, it's just, hey, remember the last game where we did like a bunch of like questionable shit? We're doing more of that this time, and it's like even more cold-hearted, and we've made the graphics better, and it's just like,
actually,
who's behind
I didn't
this?
play the second one, so like, did either of you play the
I
second
don't think. I think I was like, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
So you both kind of had the same reaction as me.
It's the same feeling I had after watching Hostel 1. I was like, I don't need the season.
Hostel.
Yeah. I get it.
I don't really know what else we got to say here. Like, it seems like you guys said everything you had to say with the first one. So, yeah, dude. Manhunt, a game that will forever live in infamy. Wow.
Yeah.
What an experience.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the complete polar opposite end of this. Let's go to RPGs.
That's hilarious.
Oh, so we're getting out of Rockstar Land.
Yeah. Do we have anything to say?
Is there any
anything left to say on Rockstar Land?
I mean, there are other games that were on the list, but I think they're kind of in other categories that we're gonna talk. Like, there's
Oh shit! What did we?
Well,
we have a.
I was gonna say I know I moved up. Smuggler's Run was one, but I
I
moved that
still
in.
have Max Payne, and there was one more.
Do you have
yeah,
Max
Max Payne.
Payne? Max Payne was great. Yeah, let's stay in Rockstar Land for a
Okay,
minute.
let's talk. Let's go ahead and knock that out.
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
Max Payne.
Yeah. Talk. While I'm talking Max Payne, do me a favor, look through the list, see if there's anything else Rockstar we need to add in.
Okay.
But yeah, dude, Max Payne. I feel like now this is a game that takes itself seriously, but at the same time, it's not. I don't feel bad while I'm playing. I feel pretty good. You're,
right.
What you're like a cop or something.
You're a hard-boiled detective. You know that's kind of
You got a trench coat.
Yeah. But like the biggest thing with that game was bullet time.
Bullet time.
I mean, that was
all the
literal,
phrase, like the
literal
Matrix was still
game
like at the
changer.
height of
Yeah.
popularity at that point.
Right. And I can never remember if it's the first one or the second one. I mean, because the thing that always sticks out is like the nightmare,
the baby.
Like I think
the
that's the
baby
second
nightmare.
one, the Fall of Max Payne. Or
It's
is it
actually
the first one?
it's the first one.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, so like I remember this game, like it wasn't in any way, it was not a horror game.
No.
But I remember as like I think a 12-year-old when this game came out, like those like drug induced nightmare scenes.
He was always popping pills to like
this like you have these like drug induced nightmares at different points throughout the game, and like that shit was freaky. Like you have this world where like you hear this baby off in the distance crying, you're like following this blood trail, otherwise you like fall off into the abyss, and you have to get to the crib, and it was pretty spooky.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that everything we just said right there is the two things that everybody says about the game. It's bullet time and it's the creepy baby stage.
Exactly.
Because like the creepy baby stage just comes out of nowhere and hits you, and it's not, you can't unsee it. You've seen it and you can't unsee it. It's like when I watch Savages, that fucking Oliver Stone movie, and then they like you see a dude get burned alive in a bunch of tires, and I'm like, great, now I can't unsee this. That's stuck in my head. Yeah. And bullet time again, just wow. The idea of like I can do like this sick jump and go across the room and then pew, 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 and just drop dudes. Then this is great. And then have a shotgun and do this.
Oh yeah, it was so fucking cool. And did either of you play the second and third one?
So I was actually kind of debating if I was going to say that. Like, I think Max Payne 3 is criminally underrated. I love that game. Now, there's some weird stuff about it, like the presentation and stuff, like, but the soundtrack of that game, and like there's a moment too, like the band Health did that soundtrack, which actually recently I've been listening to their album Rat Wars. Like I can't stop. I listen to that album at least once a day. Like it's basically like a 90s industrial it's beautiful. They do that soundtrack, and there's a moment. It's much like the moment in Red Dead 1, the first time you go to Mexico, where like I don't remember the artist's name, but like there's a song that pops up, and it's like a guy singing. It's like, oh my god! Like there's a moment in that. It's the only song that has vocals in it. It's in the airport. It's like this. It's towards the end right at the end of the game, and this song "Tears" pops up, and it's an amazing moment. I love the hell out of Max Payne 3, but I did, Max Payne 1 and 2, they were so long ago. It's hard for me to remember some of the stuff, but
it's definitely it's a tragic story, and one thing that I really appreciate about, especially in the first two games, I don't know that this continues into the third one, but the way that the story kind of rolls out, as opposed to cutscenes, they kind of tell it through these kind of graphic novel style voiceover segments where like they'll like flip through these pages and have these kind of like comic book strip almost like and it's all like gritty and film noir, and it's just it's got style.
It does. It definitely does. And I think that's what brings me back to that game is the style. Because again, to me, I felt like I was playing like an action movie where like I'm a badass cop and I'm clearing shit out. I'm making a difference, and like the whole thing that like you would have to like clear rooms and stuff, like where you would have to be kind of strategic about it too. Like, hey, I'm not going to rush into this room because there's like 3 dudes in there. I'm going to kind of play around with this a little bit, as opposed to their stuff where it's like, all right, it's 1-on-1. I'm just going to blitz this guy.
Yeah. And not to, so just real quick, and we cannot talk about this game because I could talk about this game forever. I just probably 2-3 months ago, I started playing Alan Wake 2.
Oh, how's that treating you?
So thinking of like Sam Lake, the face of Max Payne in those first games, like especially that first game where like it looks like a JPEG just like stretched around the character,
which is hilarious.
But Alan Wake 2, I mean, it's incredible. Like the way that they blend like full motion video, and like Sam Lake is in that game, like, and then Sam Lake's kind of in that game as Sam Lake, and then like there's almost like a Max Payne character you kind of meet in this like. You never know what's real and
connected.
It's so good.
And that's game, also tied to the Control game, isn't it?
Yeah.
People love Control. I've not played Control. I've heard lots of good things.
Control's great.
Everybody's all about Control.
That's a different.
I was say we can't.
Different generation of console.
What else did we miss from the Rockstar list?
I think that we're good on the Rockstar. So
we're good.
If we hit one later on, fuck it. But I think that there's other Rockstar games, but those were the notable ones.
All right, I'm gonna pull back on RPGs just because I thought about saying it, but then I remembered that both me and Jeff not super familiar, and you were kind of
I'm kind of I remember playing like probably one of the biggest RPGs on the console was Final Fantasy X, and I've played it like a little bit, but not really that heavily, and I probably couldn't recall much about like what the fuck's going on there.
Did you like Blitzball?
That's like the one thing I just like the underwater.
Yeah, that's the one thing I kind of remember about that game. Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's just stay here because I think we're all kind of in the same boat. Yeah, that's what I remember as well. I remember Blitzball, and I remember like I'm like a blonde haired dude, like, and I'm wearing kind of like one-legged shorts or something. Like, was that the main guy?
Was Titus? Was that?
Titus? Yeah. So I don't think I could go too in depth.
I really can't either.
So listeners, I don't know if you're into JRPGs or RPGs in general, like I don't know. Maybe this isn't the podcast for you.
10 was popular enough to like got a sequel, and
they
X2. Very rarely. Final Fantasy games didn't get sequels. I mean,
it was a direct sequel to that,
labeled
X2, and they've never done that before. That was kind of a cool thing.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I do. I do think it is a cool thing that the Final Fantasy series does, where they do try to give you these unique worlds and unique characters. But when something does hit, they're like, "Hey, let's expand this a little bit more." And it was really the first time they did that, and it was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, it was the first game in the series to introduce voice acting. So that was a big
good point.
A big change up from the previous games in the in the series. And I think that was kind of like going into the PS2, like that was one of those things like, oh shit, like we're really in a different generation.
Yeah,
of
you can
console.
do this now.
Like this is like it sounds good, not like.
Is that the game with the terrible laugh that people always talk? Is that type? Yeah.
It's
like, yeah.
So maybe the voice acting wasn't quite there.
Well, I mean, but still.
Did you pick up Dragon Quest 8 Journey of the Cursed King?
So this is a game that I've always wanted to play, but I've never actually gotten to. I mostly just because like I've heard so many good things about it. It's one of those like it still like kind of holds on to that turn-based RPG kind of element, but also the art style is Akira Toriyama, who the creator of Dragon Ball. So like that's one of the things that immediately draws me to it. It's just like it's a very iconic art style. Like exactly what it is when you see it, and I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. I kind of mentioned there's a few games like after I kind of jumping back into this that I've been looking at like I would really like to go back and visit that. That's one of them.
Right on. Yeah, I think what is hit with me as I've aged is I just don't have time for RPGs, and I don't understand what that is because like as I'm sitting now, like I looked the other day and I was like I fucking sunk 99 hours into Horizon Zero Dawn 2. How? But I get so intimidated by making the commitment to like an RPG or a JRPG where it's like, hey man, you're gonna be here for literally hundreds of hours. I'm like, I don't got the time.
And RPG is kind of one of the things now. Like it was very much more well defined back then, I think, or better defined maybe. But like anymore, it's like most games have so many RPG elements and like leveling up your character and like the turn based stuff is the stuff that I don't typically. I did get Baldur's Gate 3 a few months ago, and like I probably have 10 hours into it, and it's beautiful. Like, and I want to play it more, but like the turn based stuff just isn't my and not all obviously our JRPGs are that way, but.
So
yeah,
and it's funny that I didn't really get that into it because like I grew up on Pokemon. Like I fucking loved Pokemon.
Right.
I love like the older Final Fantasy games and like even like games more recently that were kind of inspired by those like Octopath Traveler on the Switch.
Oh yeah,
a fantastic fucking game, and it kind of takes from those like those older Final Fantasy. Like I love those turnstile based games, but especially from like Final Fantasy 7 on until it gets into the more like the free roaming kind of like battle system. It's just it's grinding. It's like you play 140 hours in a gameplay, like a playthrough, but like 80% of that is just grinding to level up so that you can beat that one boss.
100%,
and it annoys the shit out of me.
Same. I do hate that. I do hate when you get stuck in grind mode where it's like I just have to do this because I have to do this.
Yeah.
Jeff, I want to tag on to something you just said a minute ago about like RPGs were more defined at one point. And I think that is a good point. I think a lot of games were more defined where it was like, this is an RPG, this is a side scroller, this is a beat 'em up, and now everything's kind of starting to mesh together. Like you could say something is the majority of this game is more predominantly like this style of genre, but on the whole, yes, there's RPG elements in this. There's a level system in this. You have choice on how you build your character, what they look like, all that kind of stuff. Like I think there is now like this weird melding of a lot of different things coming together.
I feel like there's just kind of a baseline standard or expectation for what a game should have included.
What's it's
now.
evolved to?
Yeah.
Right. Where we are now in the year 2024.
Right. And so many modern games too now, especially like the bigger games, like they kind of want to be everything, like they want to give you 8 million things to do. And, real quick too, like with talking about GTA 6 coming at some point, like I'm absolutely obviously excited about it, but like GTA Online, like while it's amazing, like that I feel like GTA Online is the reason that we didn't get like Undead Nightmare 2 and Red Dead 2, or like we don't get DLCs for it because like why would they spend money to make DLC when they can just make $9 billion on stuff you buy and the
pushing out.
Like, now some of that stuff is super cool. I've dipped into GTA Online every once in a while, like flying cars and stuff. That's awesome. But yeah, I think nowadays games just want to be everything and as much as possible.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hit pause on this rant because I feel
this is a rabbit hole
burning
that will
inside
really
me. Yeah, because that's thing. Like I'm looking at it and I'm like, if we jump into what's wrong with modern gaming, guys, we're gonna
that
be
might
here
be a
while.
whole that might be another episode.
All right, let's guys, we're gonna pass by the hole and we're gonna walk over here now.
Okay.
Let's get out of RPGs altogether. Let's get into some fucking racing. Let's get into some Gran Turismo 3 A spec and 4.
So the Gran Turismo games, like I love racing games, and I love Gran Turismo 3 and 4, and like those earlier, like they were always very, very nerdy, and like you're listening to light jazz while you're like buying upgrades for your car and stuff. But like those games are for the car nerds, and that want to sit there and like change every little thing about it. I prefer the like arcade racers, Need for Speed, and most those kind of games, but there's still something about like Gran Turismo games are always the game, one of those kind of games that when a new generation comes out, it's like, look how pretty the cars
It's the
are.
tech
you
demo.
know?
Like they're able to
Absolutely.
like Xbox has done this with the
Yeah.
the Forza kind
Yeah.
of games. Every single like
Right.
console release, and PlayStation does the same. Gran Turismo 3 came out with around the launch of the PS2, and it was like kind of meant as a tech demo. Like look how
Yeah.
pretty these graphics look. Like look at all of these like this customization that you're able to do.
Was it,
And
there was a bundle, right? Like I think it was. Like
I'm
one
sure
of the
there
first,
probably
I think that was
was.
one of the first PS2 bundles. Was Gran Turismo 3 included with it?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like I've always been big into like the arcade racing
Yeah.
games. And I've kind of dipped in and out of the Gran Turismo series. Not in the PS2 era though. Like I played
Yeah.
the first two on
yeah.
PlayStation
Yeah.
just because like that was mind blowing in the
Yeah.
PlayStation era. But and it still
Yeah.
is in the PlayStation 2 era, but I'm kind of just over
Yeah.
it by that point.
I know I touched on
It's
on
too
the
complex.
PS1 episode, but like, the first you get like a Mitsubishi 3000 GT and like, boost that thing up to like 300. I feel like a lot of them topped out at like 276 horsepower or whatever it was. But yeah, I do have a fondness for those Gran Turismo games, but they're a bit much for me.
I agree with what you guys are saying in terms of like both the tech demo side of it and then also the appeal to the hardcore gearhead fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like my buddy Abrams, like that was his Madden. Like that just
Yeah,
did
right.
not leave the PS2. Like this man was just playing Gran Turismo like all
Yeah.
the time. I almost said Gran Torino, which is the fucking
the
don't have to talk about that
Eastwood
one. Yeah.
movie.
yeah, Clint Eastwood, where he just like runs around saying slurs the whole
Yeah,
time,
right.
but he's the good guy. so yeah, that's a whole different PlayStation game. But Gran Turismo, like just being able to like watch that and just see it and experience it, and the idea of like you kind of get a feel what it would like to drive these supercars, which is also crazy because
Right.
how good the physics are. So it's
Right,
like it
right.
looks good, it feels good. The
Yeah.
problem is I'm not a good enough driver to make this work. But for the people that were, it's awesome.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
definitely an audience for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because like Test Drive and there were other car racing series that have been around longer, but like I think Gran Turismo was one of the first ones that really nailed that physics where like cars would feel different, playing them and how you drove them and
Shit you did to them actually mattered.
Yeah,
Like if you,
absolutely.
Like if you did adjust the back
Yeah.
end up 2 inches and you put the front down
Yeah,
2
yeah.
inches, you would feel a difference in the car. If if you had got a spoiler but you didn't change out like your brakes, that
Right.
could also cause an issue when like you go into the corner to like try to slam them and then come out.
But I would feel pretty good about my skills, sort of like racing skills, and then you do those friggin' license tests, and like I'd get to like low A's and be like, all right, I'm done banging my head against the wall and like trying to like turn around this J turn and stop in 20 seconds. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, it was brutal. It was also just cool to be able to like go through the sheer amount of cars in that game because
Oh, yeah.
the first game had 180 and then 4 gets 721.
Oh my God. Yeah. Right.
Like they more than
Yeah.
tripled the number of cars in that
Real
game.
life licensed cars, whereas when you get into like the more arcade games,
Yeah.
a lot of those didn't include
No.
licensed cars
Yeah.
most of the time. So I can see the appeal there.
See, I wonder too if Gran Turismo, because they, I think the whole series, like, very rarely would you actually get damage. I mean, you get a little bit of damage here and there, but like that became a thing where car companies were like, well, yeah, you can have our car, but we're not letting you trash our Porsche and like crumple this thing. So yeah.
Yeah, it's the same way like if you like want to use US military stuff in like a movie, the military has guidelines on what your movie can do. Where they're like, we're gonna let you use this, but what do you plan on doing? Let me see that script. Come here. Let me see what you're doing there.
Is it true that Apple doesn't let the villain have a Apple phone?
I've heard that.
I've heard that so many times. That
Is that why all Androids are burners? They're all
yeah,
burners?
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I do think it is a super cool game and just what it's spawned and gone to do because, now people have like the setups where like, like the car wheels, like the racing rigs people have put together now
yeah.
where it's like you're in a real car to drive and you're playing these
I'm
games.
glad I don't have money because like I look at people's setup sometimes and like I want that so bad. I want even honestly like I would love them for racing games, but like I want them to play like American Truck Simulator.
I've seen some
the
pretty
boring
ridiculous
stuff.
rig setups for
Dude,
that.
guys that have like full screens
Yeah.
and like the horn.
Yeah.
It's oh man.
They got their little tiki lady hanging
the
from
big
the rear.
shifter. Oh yeah. Oh, it's great. They have a CB.
Did either of you ever get like the steering wheel controller
No.
for? I
was
did.
never that deep.
I didn't buy one brand new, but I think I picked one up in like a flea market at one point or something, and like it it's fun to kind of play around on. But
Yeah.
I'm not good enough at these games, even with a regular controller. Like, and I'm not of driving age by this point that I'm playing these games. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it's cool that people have actually gone on from playing this game to actually being race car. I mean, that's the whole point of the movie.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
they
yeah.
did, where which I also think that's wild to think that we've got to a point with like immersion and simulation in video games that it's like, well, if you can do it with the joystick, then yeah, you can obviously do it in real life. And on paper, that doesn't sound right, but yeah, it's real. You can do this.
because you understand the physics of it,
Yeah.
like you know how to you know how to take this turn with wet roads, like you know
Right.
how to like there's things that happen in real life that are simulated in these games, and it's
Yeah.
realistic at this
And
point.
if they're going to have real life courses, then they're going to be 1-to-1, with like, you learn turns and stuff. And yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch that movie? Did you watch that movie?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I think it's on Amazon.
I heard it's okay, but
Yeah, I'll check it out at some point. I'm
I bet-
watching. I'm watching Baby Driver on Netflix right now. I hadn't seen it yet, and it's great. I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
So that's a good time. Well, okay, let's transition off the track. Let's get into some more fun racing because it sounds like we're all kind of in that same boat of like we're arcade racer guys. The Need for Speed Underground series, 1, 2, and then Most Wanted. Wow, what a great series!
Yeah. Need for Speed Underground was just, I mean, that was another like great soundtrack game. Like, to me, like when I hear Need for Speed Underground, that like to the window, like that's what I hear. And that or yeah.
It is just to totally burn into your head.
Yeah. So many of those songs, but like, I've always been a fan of the Need for Speed series. Like there, anytime, with whether it's the underground scene, even though, contrast to the to the Gran Turismo of like, you can get a little nerdy with the car, but like it's not, as in depth as Gran Turismo, but they're just so much fun. They're,
Well, I remember, like, wasn't the underground games like that kind of focused more on kind of that
Like
like
the street
the
racing.
import
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
street
yeah,
racing
yeah.
styles? Like
It was
a lot of the
very Fast and
customization you're doing is
Furious.
like, what can I do to this car to make it drift better?
Yeah. Yes.
Not so
Oh, yeah.
much the
True. Right. Yeah,
There was
yeah.
a full drifting like
Yeah.
gameplay mode, I believe.
But how can I add NOS to it? How can I make this thing look cool?
How can I act like? How can I be Vin Diesel?
Yeah, how can I, yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
What kind of decal wrap can I get for this thing? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like it was just it was so much about like showing out your car as much as racing the car.
Yeah.
Because you did have that customization that you could do, and again, like with Gran Turismo, it's like, well, yeah, maybe you could like change the color of the car, but this, it's like, what can't you change on the car? Like you can do whatever you want with the body and the wheels and all this shit, and it's like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge fan of that series. Also a big fan of this game, Burnout Revenge. I love the Burnout series.
Yes.
Yeah. My favorite racing games of all time.
Yeah. I love the racing and like the crash mode.
The destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the racing is good, but the
'Cause
destruction.
they eventually, Criterion eventually got bought up by EA. Like, cause I mean, they did Burnout Paradise, which is a great game, but like, and they tried to make they had like dangerous driving and dangerous golf, where like they kind of were trying to replicate that crash mode, but it just wasn't the same. But yeah, I love those games, like the takedowns and like the little slow motion thing, and watch the guy. Oh yeah,
The soundtrack.
Yeah.
Burnout Revenge has the Diary of Jane by Breaking Benjamin. I mean, that's butt rock we got right there, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Leading out strong. Animal I've Become by 3 Days Grace. Again, more butt rock. We get Pop AFI with Girls Not Gray. We get Woman by Wolfmother, which is one of the best like arena pump up songs ever. If you're ever at like some kind of sporting event before the game starts, just play Wolfmother. If you have a choice, like if you're like, we got to get people up. I
mean, that guitar riff is it's pretty strong.
It rocks.
Yeah.
Tear Away by Drowning Poet, and the Drowning Poet a second song. And Nothing Wrong by Jimmy Eat World. Wow, guys, it is the early 2000s here.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised by the second song with Drowning Pool too. Like they let the bodies hit the floor, right? Yeah.
I just thought that's what the whole show was. I thought that they would just like play it like 11 times and then that was the set.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Wait, they had, or what? Maybe the guy was in like a Spider-Man soundtrack, right? Maybe.
No, that was Saliva. That was the Saliva and
Wait,
the
never
guy
mind.
from
You're right.
Nickelback and Saliva.
Yes.
They're lead singers.
Yeah.
They did the song from
We
Saliva.
a hero.
yeah,
Hero can save us.
Totally wrong band. But yeah. Same thing though.
No, actually, so I grew up in the town next to Decatur, Indiana, which is where the band Drowning Pool is actually from. So like I've met them before.
I feel like they have like
Well,
another song.
their singer's dead now,
didn't
but
they have a song
yeah.
that's like I don't need anyone else but me. Was that them?
That sounds, yeah, maybe. That
maybe?
sounds really familiar.
I don't
but-
know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've listened. I let the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah.
Play that again.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah, at that time period, I was definitely more in the. I mean, maybe the next thing we'll talk about, like more in the new metal side than the Drowning Pool. I mean, they were kind of there, but not really.
all right. So I'm looking at Drowning Pool Spotify, and "Tear Away" is their second
shit.
song. It currently has over 90 million plays. And then there was another song off that album called "Sinner" that has 37 million. So I think those were the big three.
Well,
if
what's
you're
that?
into
How many's let the bodies hit the floor, Dave?
Oh, dude, we're closing in on 500 million.
Oh,
The bodies ain't gonna stop dropping.
that's a meme song at this point. so.
Bodies are always dropping.
Bodies are
Yeah.
always dropping.
I'll have to see if like if I'll have to listen to those later on and see if like that sparks anything. I don't know. I'm sure it's probably locked away deep in there,
yeah.
but
Yeah. But I'm with you guys, man. The Burnout series, awesome. I love the takedowns. I thought that was great. And the wrecks and stuff. I actually got into the thing. I think it was made for PS4, but there was a Burnout game that was like a top-down mode that was a crash mode, and then it was like a puzzle game meets the crash mode of Burnout,
interesting.
and you would
Yeah.
like have to set up scenarios to like get points. It was a blast. If there was a long time where if I was like pretty fucked up and I was too fucked up to play like a real video game, I was like, I'm either playing this or I'm playing
Yeah,
Katamari Damacy. These are my two jams right now because I know no matter how blitzed I am, I can still make this work.
you can still roll around a bunch of junk in a giant ball. And,
Yeah.
Na, 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 na.
we'll get to
Listener,
that one.
We'll get there. All right, man. ATV Off-Road Fury 1 and 2.
Oh.
So I got nothing on this. You guys
Yeah.
immediately. By the way, the listener, these guys have not met before tonight.
No.
And
I was so happy when you said you knew that game, like, I mean, because I don't think it's like an obscure game or anything, but that's another thing like Smuggler's Run, where it's just, you can do races and stuff or do missions or whatever, but like I just want to play freestyle and just listen to new metal and hit jumps.
Well, that's the thing is
you know?
like they kind of tapped into this kind of popularity around extreme sports and
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
in the 2000s. So you have like you have your ATV, you have this big open world, and then you have like new metal and kind of like post grunge kind of tracks and
Right.
everything, and like they
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of just throw you into it sets
Yeah.
the mood.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you spend like you can race or you can free roam, and like literally like my
right.
sister and I played this the other day in this day that we were kind of like getting like I was kind of just prepping for this, and like I spent like almost an hour just like there was one track in ATV Off-Road Fury 2 where there's a train that circles the track over and
Oh,
over
yeah,
again.
yeah.
I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
ramping the train
Yeah,
over
yeah,
and
yeah.
over and over again, listening
Well,
to fucking like Seven
And
Dust.
they did a fun thing too, where like you wouldn't necessarily know where the edge of the map was, but then as soon as you hit it, it would just launch you like
Launch you.
hundreds of
Yeets
feet,
you.
and like just shit, just ragdoll.
All right, we'll cover for you.
Okay.
But no, like ATV Off-Road Fury, like that was one of the first games that I actually got for the PlayStation 2. And do you want? Should we just go ahead and pause for a minute? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like ATV Off-Road Fury, it was like one of the first games that I actually got. And I just remember like my sister and I, like we would play this game for hours and hours and hours, not really doing much of anything actually, just kind of fucking like
Yeah.
And there was game modes too that I think like there was like a tag mode, and I think that the second one introduced I think there was a hockey mode. Where you could actually play on ice, like there was like a hockey.
Yeah. There was like a
rink,
big
and, like, you
giant
could-
puck. Yeah.
and I feel like this is kind of like this kind of paved the way for what would eventually become like Rocket League and games like this, where you have a vehicle that you're like playing these like just arcadey kind of like fucking sports scenarios.
Yeah. Well, while new metal plays. Yeah.
Well, new metal plays, yes.
Yeah.
Fucking love it. If I like, that's the one thing from the early 2000s that just keep on going. It'll never die.
Well, that I was gonna say the ATV Off-Road Fury like definitely introduced me to Ultra Spank, because there was two songs on there that I absolutely love, but Denial by Seven Dust, Spoon Man by Soundgarden, Them Bones, Alice in
I
Chains.
think, I think that was one of my first times
that's-
actually hearing Alice in Chains. And again, like listeners, I was like 11 years old at
Right,
the time that I was
right,
playing
right.
this. So like, when am I gonna like,
Yeah.
other than the radio? I guess I don't know.
I was gonna put it on the list, but to me, because Jerry was a race car driver was on there, but
that's
a
Primus?
That's a Tony Hawk. That's a Tony Hawk.
Yeah,
song, though.
that's one of those things. Well, there was a lot of
Yeah.
crossover. Like all of these games, I kind of had like there were similar songs, and I would agree with you. Like that's definitely one that I think of like. Like I just think of like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Like that's
Yeah.
one of those ones that like just sticks with me. But it was also in this game.
As much as I love, like I said, I mean, I love that band, Ultra Spank, but it's Alice in Chains. That if I think of that song, it's the like the that's what I think.
You try to
of
time
this
your
game.
jumps off of these like mountains and
Yeah,
stuff. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And there was a
I mean,
cinematic.
honestly,
There was like a cinematic camera view too. You could press like the circle.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it would, like,
yeah,
kinda,
yeah.
similar to GTA. Like
Yeah.
you could see like this like soaring through the sky. And
yeah. See, that's the thing, and like, I mean, they're never gonna remaster ATV Off-Road Fury, but like, those are the games that like I miss so much, and like,
And there were kind of like more modern-ish interpretations. I know eventually after like 3 or 4 games in the main series, it kind of crossed like they kind of morphed with the motocross game. So it became like MX versus ATV, I think was the
very
series.
very rarely in those games do they give you what I want, which is just here's a big giant map and you can drive around wherever you want. Like they'll kind of give you freestyle. We can go around like tracks and stuff, but like I want the whole countryside, like they give you in those games. But yeah.
All right, well, I think that's
Sorry, Tank. Thank you.
It's okay. We're totally cool. We got it.
nothing happened, listener.
Nothing happened. Everything was fine. The excitement of you can't contain the excitement of beating the offer.
Yeah.
7 doors.
Exactly.
Flip tables.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost Monopoly levels of just fucking flip this table, Grandma.
Yeah. I did see Seven Dust one time at Bogarts, and it was freaking awesome. Like they put on a good show. I'll just say that.
Oh yeah. Well, all right. Let's get into our last genre of the night. Let's get into fighting here. So, all right, Tekken 5. I played Tekken 1 through I think 3. I think at this point I was out.
Because I was trying to think of that. I was like, I assume was Tekken 4 on PS2 as well?
No.
Or was that on PS1?
I think it was. Or,
I didn't even.
I don't remember. I
should've
do
looked that
remember
up.
Tekken 4 being kind of like a commercial failure in a lot
Yeah.
of ways because they tried to do some
Yeah.
weird shit with that game, and like Tekken 5 was kind of like okay, they're back to
Yeah,
form.
yeah.
Like, I don't really remember it that well.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do remember playing it, and I know that they're like I don't know. It was
I
a
love
solid
the
fighter.
Yeah, I love the Tekken series. That's probably one of my favorite fighting game series. Just like the stories are bonkers and it's
Yeah,
like
they make no sense.
it's so many dads throwing their sons into volcanoes and like it's just yeah, they're great though.
Yeah, I looked it up. Tekken 4 and 5 both on the PS2. But I just at that point I just kind of
See, I don't remember Tekken 4 at all.
Yeah. I remember playing 1 through 3 on the PS1, and I kind of just faded after that. And I threw it on the list just because I feel like it's one of those things where like somebody in the room would have played it because
Yeah.
like the people that do play Tekken get balls deep into
Oh
that
yeah,
shit.
I mean
Yeah.
it's one of those series that launched competitive esports.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah,
really
yeah,
is like
for
it's
sure.
a competitive game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like fighters. So like I'm not very good at the fighting games, especially as like we've kind of gone through time. Like on the PS1, like I remember like on the PS1 and like N64 and like Sega, like all of the like I like playing Mortal Kombat and like these more like
Yeah.
kind of arcadey ones, Virtua Fighter, like all these like types of games. Like it was a little simplified, a little easier. Like you
Yeah.
have your button combos
Yeah.
and you basically button mashing a lot
Yeah.
though. But then you get into like PS2 era with like Tekken, and it gets pretty complicated.
Yeah.
Like your chain combos, like you got to like be very precise.
There's
and
a
like I said,
system.
like there's a competitive aspect to this, and like I was just like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, I always think of buying Virtua Fighter 4 and like getting the game at GameStop, whatever, opening the case and like the manual was like a book. I'm like looking at like tiny little print, like 2-3 pages of moves per character. Like, what is this? Like, yeah. But I'm also I'm the guy like if you're at a party or something that we're playing, especially like old Mortal Kombat or something like. I will be the guy that like somehow will like run the room one time, and I'll pick a different character every single time, and then like not win another match the whole night. Like
I was gonna say, were you not the guy that was just crouching and crotch punching the
no,
entire
I
time?
know I won't be. I will not be cheap. Like you know,
He's a gentleman.
yeah. We probably talked about it too. Like Tekken 3, like you know Eddie Gordo. I don't know.
Yeah,
like, you know
that is very, very
pushing or like
yeah,
Gone
spammy.
and Dr. B. Like
Yeah, I don't like that. I hate it when people spam Eddie Gordo.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah,
like, come
yeah.
on, are we fighting here, or are we just showing off what the graphics can do?
Right. But that's what I love about. I mean, I guess as I'm thinking about most fighting game series are like they're kind of trying to be a little real. I mean, not really real because people have powers, but then like, hey, there's also a bear you can fight as, or
Yeah.
like you know some goofy Blanca, or like some weird monster out of nowhere that just
Yeah, the Tekken universe is just its own weird thing where like you do kind of have like serious characters with law, but then you have characters like Jack who is a cyborg.
Yeah,
And
right.
then you also have characters like King, who is a guy with a jaguar mask that's a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
And then you have like, was it Alex, which was the kangaroo and the reptile?
Oh, yeah.
And like one
Yeah.
had the blue punch gloves and the other one had
Yeah.
the red boxing gloves. Like
Yeah.
it just gets weird, man.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think you'll find as we like progress through this list a little bit more, like a lot of these Japanese studios like Capcom and fucking Konami and like all of these these Japanese made games are just bonkers.
Yeah.
They're fucking like, we skipped over for the most part the JRPG kind of section of this
Yeah.
because like we don't have a lot of experience with that, but those games get so ridiculous. Like I don't know what the fuck is going on half the time.
This is what happens when you fucking don't let people have tattoos and you blur out pussies and fucking porn. Like you get Japanese shit where it's just like, what is happening here? It's like, well, you get repressed and then you kind of just gotta get bucked.
Things just get way better.
Yeah, you just kind of like you have a hard time getting drugs on your island, but yet still you're making this.
Yeah,
like it's God bless the Japanese.
Simulated drugs through my video games.
All right, now here is a game I played a shitload of, Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah.
Man, I love Soul Calibur 2. I feel like that's kind of the thing. Like, I played Tekken 1 through 3, and I was like, this is okay. And then Soul Calibur's like, what if we had weapons too? It's like, okay, now you got my attention here.
Yeah. I mean, I love the first one on Dreamcast. Like, I think I had 2 on Dreamcast too. So that's one of those games that's like kind of a Dreamcast game for me. But they would also do the thing with like later in the, I don't know when they started it, but the 3 different consoles would
Soul
have.
Calibur 2 was the first game. So they released it on
Yes.
PlayStation 2, Xbox, and Dreamcast. I had it on Xbox.
Because Hayachi was from Tekken.
Yeah,
right?
in the
Was it-
PlayStation 2 version.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you had Link, or no. They released it on
Was it on
GameCube. That's what it
GameCube,
was.
yeah.
GameCube had Link,
Link.
and then my I had an Xbox. Xbox had Spawn.
Spawn.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
had Spawn in
Yeah.
the Xbox.
But
version.
I love like that. The fighting game engine of the Soul Calibur games, there's something that's very fluid and like I really love about there's a lot of great characters that I love playing as too in those games. But Kalik might have been I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
The guy with the big staff that would like
yeah, he had a big staff.
do the big like giant like
Yeah.
dropping hits and stuff.
I was a Maxi man myself. I liked him and his nunchucks. I thought that was pretty rad. And then also Voldo.
Yeah.
Voldo. I remember like coming upon Voldo at an arcade when I was like in junior high or something,
Right.
or I guess it was a little later, like in high school. I'm just being like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like it is one of the most weird characters I've ever
Yeah.
seen in the video game.
I just pictured them like designing this character like, okay, well we need like an S&M character and then some guy in the back like more.
Yeah.
Like no, he's not weird enough yet. Like more. Yeah.
I like his alternate where like on one hand he's like the total S&M gimp, and then the other one he's like very posh and like all dressed up in like purples and shit.
Yeah. I always love Astaroth just because he was a big, monster.
Yeah,
dude,
monster.
almost like executioner looking guy. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that game had a lot of cool character types in it.
Yeah, I can't say I'm sad kind of listening to you two kind of like bounce these characters off each other. 'Cause I don't really remember it that well. Like it's one of those games that I haven't revisited since I was like the age that I was when I would have played it, and it's just I don't know, I was so little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sad. I'm gonna have to check that one out again.
Also a game where they tried to make lore, but it's just kind of like I don't really understand how all these dudes are living in the same place at the same time, and
Right.
Nightmare is stealing everybody's powers. And
Right.
whatever.
I mean, it's like Mortal Kombat. You know, Mortal Kombat's been around for 30 years, and it's like, how are they still fighting to the death
They
all the
didn't
time? Like
saving the
okay,
portal. Didn't that
right.
guy get his spine ripped out?
Yeah.
All right, here's one that I don't have info on, but I'm going to leave it to you guys. Dragon Ball Z Budokai and Tenkaichi.
So it's Budokai. So there were several games that came out on the PS2 era. You had a trilogy first, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1 through 3, and then they actually it's not connected at all. Atari had the rights to these games at this point, and they created Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi, which was a separate series, but they kept the Budokai name, trying to piggyback off of the success of the first 3 games. So it's
Definitely not making it confusing for American
a
players.
lot of these like kind of like Japanese like anime like adapted fighting games, like they're very confusing with the way they title them and everything. But for me, like these games, it did a couple of things. So like Budokai, like the first one, kind of like the first 2 really kind of retell the story of the anime, kind of like takes you through that, and you like fight, like it's kind of like more of like your typical like fighting game, but using these like characters and IPs that, you know, like people like you know, from the Dragon Ball Z series. For me, what as a kid especially, I think the reason that I kind of clung to this series more so than something like Soul Calibur or Tekken was like it was a simplified kind of fighting system. You had a button for punch, you had a button for kick, you had a button for key blast. And then like depending on the game, you either had like a short sequence that you do for like special like big attacks, or you would have a special ability that you would press like a button to like after you like build up your like power gauge or whatever. So it was kind of a simplified fighting, and it was like characters that I loved, being just a fucking anime nerd as a teenager. And it was at a time where I don't think all of the dubbed like the English dubbed episodes were available in the US yet. They were still kind of making them at this point. And also like you couldn't like for me at that time, like I didn't have like I don't know, I wasn't like really like doing the internet thing well enough to like be able to get like Japanese versions of the show or anything. So it was a way for me to kind of get more content from the show in a different way, because like they had cutscenes where like not only did they like play through sagas in seasons that I hadn't gotten to yet, where I could like kind of meet these characters and everything, but they also had these like this launched a whole thing. Like this is a big thing on YouTube too, is like what if scenarios. What if this had happened instead of this? And like that kind of like launched like a whole like subgenre of like just, I don't know, like kind of fan fiction almost for the Dragon Ball Z series. So like that was kind of that was my fighting game at the PS2 era that was kind of like very near and dear to my heart. It was a shitty game, don't get me wrong. Like they did, like I think it took the Dragon Ball Z, like they've gone through so many different developers and publishers between the PlayStation all the way up to like current generation. And like they finally kind of got their formula right. Like there's a game, Fighter Z. It kind of goes back to that kind of like more like 2D like traditional like fighting style that you would see in like a Street Fighter, and it's so fluid and so good.
I mean, it just looks like the cartoon. I mean, I'm honestly better than the cartoon does sometimes. Like it's plus they're really good about like the, you know, if you have Gohan and Goku, like, you know, you're fighting against Frieza, and like they'll do the extra little cutscene where you'll get like Gohan and Goku like doing the Kamehameha at the same time. Like, yeah, they're really good about that. But I do remember at the time, I think Budokai, I think that was one where it was like, okay, this is kind of fun, but like not many years, like, you know, a couple years of like loving Dragon Ball Z, but like never finding a game that was any good or that I liked playing. It was like.
I think it was the first like real Dragon Ball Z game that was successful in the Western continent.
Yeah.
Like the Western Hemisphere. I think that prior to that, like there were games on the PS1, but I never saw them in like my local like game stores and stuff. Like it's one of those things like you had to specifically search that out, and like it was a time where it was hard to find that. So.
My friend Wes, real quick, for Nintendo did have Dragon Power, which it wasn't until years later I was like, holy shit, that game was freaking Dragon Ball, like the original, like, because it's Bulma and Turtle Hermit, and like, but they changed a couple names in there, and it was like years later, like, oh my god, like, you know, I loved that game as a kid, like, you know, realizing it's Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z. But.
So yeah, I mean, it was just that first game like that they had released that was tied to this IP that like was readily available. Like you could go to your Walmart and buy this. Yeah. So that was kind of I don't know, it kind of just launched, I think, for a lot of anime lovers, kind of brought them into that fighting game realm.
The Dragon Ball Z thing is always an interesting fandom for me because I know everything about it. I know nothing about it at the same time. Like I know, like there's black hair guy and there's blonde hair guy, and then there's
They're the same guy.
But black hair guy is blonde hair guy.
yeah, and then there's lizard guy, and then like there's an old guy, and like people go 9,000, and there's like a
Well
dog,
over
like,
9,000.
like a Greg.
It's over 9,000.
There's like a red thing you wear over your eye to like see power levels, and so like, but I have no clue what anybody is or what they're
That is kind of the funny thing though with Dragon Ball and like some of the games that they put out over the years. It's like, well, play through the series all over again. It's like,
Yeah.
I love it. I love Dragon
Kind
Ball.
of just getting to re-experience it without having to watch through
Yeah,
300
I actually
something episodes.
not long ago realized that Hulu has like all of Dragon Ball, like it like Z Kai or like Kai, and then
GT,
I
Super,
watched.
like-
I finally watched through all of Super, all 131 episodes of it, and now I liked a lot of it, but there was still like, guys, what are we doing here? Like with Garlic Jr. I'm like, what? Who gives a shit about? Why is Garlic Jr. here? And
One of the things that the Dragon Ball Z anime is kind of known for is like there are these arcs that are specifically filler arcs where the manga would be lagging behind and they wouldn't be advancing fast enough with writing the manga, and the anime show would be like, well, we want to put more episodes out, so they would just make filler arcs where the whole thing it doesn't progress the story at all. It's just killing time, but they want to put new episodes out.
I first like saw Dragon Ball Z on like Cartoon Network on like 4:00 in the afternoon, and it was Goku fighting Frieza. I'm like, why are these people just screaming, yelling at each other? Like no one's
5
doing
episodes.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of what it is. That could be a whole other episode too.
Yeah, I
my God,
think this does open the possibility for a Dragon Ball Z episode someday. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks.
Did anybody else play that game?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
It's a game that I wish they would just do, because they did that and then they did the I think it was PS1, but the Sub-Zero.
Was this like the
It was
RPG thing?
So I had Sub-Zero on the 64 actually.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure it was PS1, but like, yeah, it was like a side. You played as Liu Kang and Kung Lao, and basically it was like a side scroller, like
It was a beat 'em up.
Beat
It was
'em
a
up.
fixed camera
Yeah,
beat 'em up style
platformer
game.
kinda
It
thing.
was not a traditional fighting game. Like you played as you like played as like one of like the Shaolin monks, like Liu
Yeah.
Kang, and like you would play through. Essentially, it was a retelling of the story of Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay.
yeah.
But actually having like a linear kind of like story like
Story
with cutscenes
progression.
and stuff that you would watch, and like you played. It wasn't just like, because I think if I remember correctly, with like there wasn't much of an actual story in Mortal Kombat 2. Like you had like the tower mode, like you'd like play through the
Yeah, you just
tower
level
and like
the
progress.
towers.
But they kind of explain like what's actually like. I remember I was so little when the Mortal Kombat games came out. I was like elementary
yeah.
age, like
Yeah,
playing those,
right.
and like I didn't know, like I was just fighting and then like crouching and crotch punching, so I
Yeah,
wasn't
right.
like, get over
Right.
here. But I didn't know what the fuck was going on story wise, so like this was really like it kind of explored that story of Mortal Kombat 2 from their perspective, and you kind of played through as more of a beat 'em up style game.
Can I let you know a secret?
Mm.
Midway didn't know what story they were telling at that time. They were just
I mean, yeah.
they were just like, what is cool? And
Yeah,
how can we
right.
have it viciously murder another cool looking thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they're like, you know what? We've done nothing. We should probably get some fucking lore here, right, guys?
And I don't know if Shaolin Monks just tanked or like was just,
It was-
I don't know. I remember loving it at the time. Like I remember having, had a Game Informer subscription for the longest time. Like there being a cover story, like, oh, a new Mortal Kombat game, and then seeing it like, this is exactly what I want. Like I love beat 'em ups and side scrolling stuff, and like, yeah, and like take a chance, do it again. Like the Sub-Zero or do, I don't know.
I think that it's just one of those IPs where like all of the like the people who play those games, like they are so like they want the traditional style like fighting.
That's what I was getting ready to say. It's like a band where it's
Right.
like, if there's a band and like this is the genre of music they play, and all of a sudden now they release like a Caribbean record, and
Right.
like there's some people who are like, I'm on for this journey of exploration, and other people are like, the fuck is this?
But it's also like, I mean, it's easy for me to say, and not my money then spending, but it's like WB owns you. Like you got money, like just try and get,
make it.
Take
like
some
people
risk.
will buy it. Like
And they incorporated a lot of the elements from like the more traditional style. Like you still had your fatalities,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
they had multalities, which were like when you had several people that you were fighting at once, they would just kill everybody,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
was like so batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure you could like pull a rabbit out of a
gonna
hat
say,
and like
slice-
beat somebody
yeah.
with it. You could like literally
Yeah,
slice
yeah.
people, like just a whole group of people with your hat. And like,
yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
All right, let's move over to another great place of lore. Def Jam Vendetta and Fight for New York. Wow.
How the fuck did this even happen? Like,
It did, and it's magical, and it's great. And it's
Yeah.
one of the best things ever.
so I'm gonna like really quick before we get too far into like talking about like the actual game itself. I just want to say this game was developed by Aki, who are, you might know from like WWF No Mercy and WWF WrestleMania 2000, even going back to like WCW versus NWO, like those games, which
The
were
best wrestling game.
the best wrestling
best
games
of all time.
The fucking people who made the best wrestling game
Yeah.
of all time made this fucking game.
Yes.
They're like, what happens if we take wrestling and fucking Def Jam hip hop artist and we
Yeah.
just fucking like whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible. Like, talk about like just hitting on all cylinders. Like, it hits on the graphics, it hits on the music, it hits on the gameplay.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just, it's fun. It looks cool.
Yeah.
This is just such an incredible series.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think I only played Vendetta. I don't think I played the second one, the
Fight for New York.
Yeah.
So the first one, Vendetta, is more of a traditional kind of wrestling style
Yeah.
game. Like it really does play kind of just like the like WWF No Mercy as far as like the actual gameplay. The second one, and like in the first one, you can win by pin, submission, or KO. But the second one kind of leans off of that a little bit and leans more into kind of like the MMA and kind of street fighting.
Yeah.
And there's
style
more like
things.
environmental stuff too.
Yeah,
right?
so
Like,
it's
yeah.
not necessarily in a wrestling. There are wrestling rings.
I feel like I
yeah,
pictured
like in a-
somebody like smashing somebody into like a phone booth or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
more of that kind of like street fight,
Fighting
like,
your cars and
Yeah.
shit.
and it's submission and KO only in the second
Yeah.
one. So they take out the pinning. So like they really do kind of
Yeah.
pull back from the wrestling side of it in the second
Which
game.
also makes it feel like more hardcore, where it's like, look, it's not wrestling. Like, you know, it's
Right.
this underground fighting thing.
Yeah,
Either you're getting
yeah,
knocked out,
right.
you're getting choked out. That's the only two ways this is going. And yeah, and then just on top of it, the soundtrack, and then just the people in this game: Snoop Dogg, Method Man, Busta Rhymes, Redman, Omar Epps, fucking Ice-T, Ludacris, Karma
DMX.
Electra. It just goes and goes and goes.
Well, yeah, and like the first game was almost exclusively hip hop artists, and then like the second game they pulled more like there's cameos from Danny Trejo in the second game.
yeah.
Like you've got all these like just kind of just weird celebrity cameos that weren't even hip hop artists that are popping.
Danny
up this
Trejo showed up somewhere. That's crazy.
Samuel Jackson dipped in for a cup of
Yeah,
coffee.
right.
You saw that coming.
Yeah, it's fuck, man. Like it was such a fun. It really was like a kind of a fun game, and they kind of changed it to another developer, and I just think it just lost steam pretty quickly,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of licensing issues with Def Jam, and I don't think we'll ever probably see anything like that ever again. But it was just like this perfect storm of these two very
Yes.
different cultures kind of coming together, and I know like. I've got buddies who like this was like their first like huge hip hop fans, like this was their first time like oh shit, this is kind of cool, like they got into wrestling through Def Jam, and like vice versa, like this was like at the age that I was like I'd heard a lot of these artists like through like the 90s and stuff on MTV and shit, but like this was my first time like really diving into like who are these people outside of like watching MTV Cribs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saying how else is Bubba Sparks gonna get into it? I had to check, make sure. I'm like, Bubba Sparks was in those games, right? Yeah. The second one.
I think, Dub seasoned the game. Like, the fact
Yeah.
that you can, like, play from dudes from West Side Connection.
Yeah.
I was just
right.
like, oh, shit, okay, this is awesome. It was just, it's a cool series, and I totally 100% agree with you. I don't know if this is ever going to be able to be replicated ever again. I don't see, with who owns what and where and all. I can't imagine people being able to come together. The only way I could see it if some modern artist that like has kind of their, like, I could see like West Side Gun making a game, and like all the people like Benny the Butcher and there's other dudes that like live inside the West Side Gun universe. But
Maybe-
I don't know if you could do like a 40-person roster where like you're bringing
Right.
in a bunch of other hip hop artists at the same
Yeah.
time.
I was just saying, maybe somehow we could, or like maybe a rhythm game. It could be like a Drake Kendrick beef,
Oh,
beef game, you know?
Yeah, Def Jam did try like they like it wasn't a wrestling game, but like Def Jam tried like a Def Jam karaoke game at
did
one
they?
point on like I think it was like the PS3 kind of era, and it was a big flop. Like,
I mean,
no one-
because they like SingStar and all those games, like some of those singing games would do cut, any kind of genre, like, oh, well, is there country one, whatever. Yeah.
Well, let's get rid of this. Let's get in the ring. Actually, WWE SmackDown. Here comes the pain. This was huge.
I was trying to think of which one was that, and I think it was that one was like the the game, out of all, because I mean there were so many wrestling games.
I know we had just said that like WWF No Mercy, greatest wrestling game of all time, and like a lot of people would agree with that. I to an extent I do agree with that too, but I think that this was when you kind of got into the PS2 era of wrestling games with like the SmackDown series. So you had SmackDown, you had SmackDown 2, Know Your Role, you had Shut Your Mouth, you had
SmackDown
Here Comes
versus
the Pain.
Raw.
So like this was the final game in like the regular SmackDown series before they moved on to SmackDown versus Raw, where it became like just yearly releases where they were just releasing the same game essentially every single year, which would eventually become the 2K games that they have.
I was gonna say, because like when was like the downfall of wrestling games? Because like I loved the hell out of wrestling games, and then like at a certain point it definitely got in that like kind of Madden thing where it was like it just felt like the same game every year,
more
and, like,
kind of simulation.
And then
style
every once in a while
versus
was like,
arcade,
well, actually 2K13 or 14, I think was like it was pretty good, but then like a few more years would be like, it's not that good anymore. Like they take something out, or
it's also weird like trying to come into it now because like this is kind of where I dropped off with the wrestling games was during this time period, and trying now to like pick up a SmackDown game, I'm just like, or WWE game in the modern era, I'm just like, dude, there is so much shit that I got to know. It's like when I tried to jump in to play FIFA, I'm like, the learning curve is so huge because for people that have just like played this year after year after year, like they're so like muscle memory ingrained that they just have to learn like one thing every year. It's like, oh, they hit sticks over here now, or this does that.
The whole like reverse, like hit Y or what, or triangle, like, at the right moment. Like I could never get that, but like if I had been playing those games for years, I'm sure it would be,
I've kind of picked it back up and have started playing again in the last like 2 years that they've released, and like they have like kind of pulled back on that a little bit and leaned back into some of those more kind of simplified arcadey styles.
There's a part
which is good.
I've kind of wanted to get 2K24 because I've heard it's okay. It's
I'm
not
enjoying
bad.
it. Yeah,
like,
I'm enjoying it a lot actually.
I haven't really had one of those games in a long time, but like I and that's the thing. I don't really even watch wrestling anymore, but like I'm vaguely, I always stay like vaguely aware of things, and like I was actually I was dog sitting for my aunt and uncle when the weekend of WrestleMania, the last WrestleMania happened. So like I watched all watch that. That was awesome, but I do kind of I kind of miss wrestling games. I want to play another one,
I think for me, like I got into wrestling during like the Attitude Era. I think it was like I was kind of like 7-8 years old, like when that started kicking off, and
perfect time.
Like that was like my shit. And like I think for me, what solidified it and kept it going through a lot of like even up into my teens was kind of like the games.
Yeah.
Here Comes the Pain was one of the best wrestling. I've spent so much time playing this game, and I went to Philadelphia a couple months ago, and there's a wrestling shop there in Philadelphia. Like I'm spacing the name of it. Tank, you recommended
it's
this.
not
to me.
Suplex. Suplex is the.
No, it was,
is it Suplex?
Yeah, I think so. But they have the entire upstairs. They have like just games set up, and like I played for my wife took a video of me like playing like Here Comes the Pain. That was the first time I had played it in probably almost 20 years, and I was like, shit, I'm playing this as soon as I get back home.
So how close to because WrestleMania was in Philly this year, wasn't it?
How
close to that were you?
So yeah, I was upset with my wife bought me for Christmas, bought me tickets, she bought like plane tickets and everything for us to go to Philadelphia to see Black Pumas live.
Oh no.
It was a fantastic concert, but I was like, you do realize that WrestleMania was like 2 months later. We could have gone to that.
Right.
So like I loved that concert.
Is she into
great.
wrestling too, or like?
So she's not watching it with me, but like she dips in for like the bigger shows, and like she will watch those bigger shows with me and gets into it. And she's gone to a few live events with me. I think the last time that I was able to drag her to one, we went and saw AEW Dynamite a couple years ago, and it was, I think you were actually at that same one, but like we had like really bad seats for this, and we could barely see, and we were just like way up at the very
Was it at
top.
UC?
Yeah.
Dude.
And it was I was so excited because like CM Punk had just come back.
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson had just fucking like come into the company too. Adam Cole had just come into the company. I was like so hyped, and it was a bad venue.
Yeah.
And it was not a good experience. That's the last time I've been able to drag her to a show, but I'm gonna have to get her to one. Then COVID happened too, though.
What I remember about that show was it was like COVID was just in like it was the whole part where like COVID was now, hey, everybody come back out. And then it was at UC, and we went there, and it was just, they did not have enough staff working. Like they had like one beer window / hot dog window open for the entire like upper deck of the arena. And it's like, cool. I stood in line for fucking 45 minutes for a hot dog and 2 Bud Lights. This is great.
Right. It was a pretty rough experience.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a rough show. But yeah, we got to see Malachi Black versus Dustin Rhodes.
That
cool.
was a fucking that was
fun.
cool. That was
was a
I
good
really
time.
enjoyed that. So, but yeah, like we're getting on this rabbit hole. Fucking here comes the pain. Oh,
I was gonna say, so what? Who are your favorite guys to play with? Like, because I was always, I mean, Undertaker is still like probably like the all time number one, but like when Kane came around, like Kane was like my dude for the longest time. I just love that character. Like, he was always.
So this was kind of the transitional game between the end of the Attitude Era and the beginning of the Ruthless Aggression era.
Right.
So you kind of have the old guard kind of winding down. This is the very last game that features The Rock and Stone Cold as active wrestlers on the roster.
Wow. Yeah.
But it's also the first game that features John Cena, Rey Mysterio, Dave Bautista, like all of these like wrestlers that kind of like go into the Ruthless Aggression era, like takes it like, so it is that transitional game. And I think it's these two worlds kind of coming together. It's around that like kind of like I think it was like WrestleMania 20 or so was like around like where this came out.
Yeah,
and
I'm trying to remember. Like, it's like that whole. It's always the Ohio Valley Wrestling Classic. I think it's like 2002, 2003, where it is like literally. It's like it's Randy Orton, it's John Cena, it's Brock Lesnar, and it's Batista.
Yeah,
and it's just like holy shit! Like this is insane to think that like, and they're handing over the key, like they're getting the keys from like The Rock and Stone Cold. Like talk about like a changing of the guard here.
So it's just that there's this giant roster on this game. Like there's so many people that you can play as. And not only does it have this giant roster of active wrestlers, this is the very first in the series that actually does Legends as well, where you could play as Roddy Piper, you could play as Jimmy Snuka, you could play as like all like you could like, so this was during the era of Undertaker as the American Badass. So like he comes out to either Limp Bizkit or Kid Rock on his motorcycle. But they had a Legends version of Undertaker. You could play as like the OG Deadman, and I fucking like that's who I probably played as the most.
Right.
When I loaded this game up the other day to play it, I played a match as the Undertaker, like OG Undertaker, and I had messed with his like entrance and stuff for whatever reason. I'd given him Kane's entrance.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you customize him now to be Blue Lives Matter Undertaker, like modern Taker?
You could probably make your own pretty close.
Or just have him do the Kane fire, but it's blue fire.
Yeah.
Oh, there is Blue Kane. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
I have seen Blue Cane, yes. Yeah. And I also saw Green Cane the other day, which is apparently Weed Cane, which I'm not sure if that is real or fake.
I don't. I haven't seen that one, but I wouldn't doubt that it exists. It's probably an easy thing to cash in on the indies. Like you see some weird shit in the indies. So.
Yeah. Weed Cane totally makes sense. Like he comes out and then like he hits the fire and then he just lights a spliff off of it. And it's like, all right, cool, Weed Cane.
This was the first wrestling game that featured Kane without his mask as well. That was around the inception of Kane.
Okay.
So there was that, and it's the first we get the elimination chamber for the first time. So you have a 6-person elimination style match in this big cage. It was new and exciting at the time, and I just remember like that was like the coolest game mode. And then you have some not so great game modes like bra and panties matches that were introduced in this game for the first time as well. I think it was a little late because that was very much a thing of the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
but for whatever reason in the games it didn't come along until like this year. And they had it for the next couple of years as a staple.
I'm trying to even think who was in the women's division at that time.
You had like Tori Wilson, Trish Stratus, and like
what's her name?
Lita,
the really tall lady.
China.
That was really tall was with
Stacey Keebler. Yeah. She was the manager for Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner at that point.
Right.
Wait, is Big Papa Pump in the game?
I don't think so. I think
God damn it! I want Scott Steiner.
I think this was right after he like fucked off out of there. He was like, nope, I'm good. And it went to TNA where he had a great career. With a Steiner math and anyway.
Oh my god, yeah, that clip is amazing.
He's fat.
Yeah.
This fat son of a bitch. He's fat.
Oh, fucking Scott Steiner.
Scott Steiner, you're a national treasure. Never change.
Never change. But yeah, there's just so many cool like game elements to this game, and also like the backstage brawling. Like you could go into Times Square I remember like you go into Times Square and jump off of buildings. You could hang off of helicopters. You could jump onto like you could put somebody on top of a limousine and then jump off the helicopter onto them, and the car would blow up. And like,
Yeah,
it
right.
was just batshit crazy. Like this was the last hoorah for like the really arcadey style wrestling games.
Yes. Before we had to grow up and just get every year.
Yeah.
New
So hopefully we can get back to it. I know AEW tried to kind of bring that with Fight Forever. I wasn't into it.
I didn't pick it up. It did not look good. I
watched
like,
I watched a video of like Giant Bomb playing it, and like they had a match or whatever, and then it was like, okay, we're in Philadelphia, and like they go to a restaurant, and then like it shows like a picture, like a JPEG of like some Philly food, like some cheesesteaks, whatever. It's like, all right, like what are we? I don't know. Like I appreciate you trying stuff, but like what are we doing here? Like,
as with most things AEW, what are we doing here, AEW?
yeah.
I had such high hopes.
I think
there's still moments where I get excited still, like, but
yeah, but they're just owned by a coked out man child.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Right.
allegedly.
Definitely not allegedly on the man child part.
Yeah.
Well, look, guys, we got to shut this thing down at some point. I think now's that time. There's going to be a part 2, possibly a part 3. We have so much more to talk about.
Do you want to give a little teaser of like some of the things we have coming up still?
I mean, we got Guitar Hero coming up. We got so many sports games. We got Madden. We have NCAA 2004, which is very timely because we get the return of NCAA football this summer. Guys, this is the first sports game I'm buying in forever. I'm fucking stoked for this. Holy shit. We got action adventure coming out of our ass with Kingdom Hearts, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear 3, Devil May Cry, God of War,
really
Ratchet
is kind
and
of the
Clank.
wheelhouse of the PS2. We haven't even gotten into the beefiest fucking genre.
I was gonna say the very next game, that Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, is like one of my all-time. Oh man,
Yeah.
Shadow of the Colossus, Mercenaries Playground of Destruction. We also get extreme sports games coming up, SSX, and also the Tony Hawk series.
EA Big. There are so many games. Well, Def Jam, like the Def Jam games. Those were developed by EA Big. I forgot to mention that.
As was NBA Street and NFL Street, which we'll also be talking
those
about.
were so good.
Yeah, there's so many games from that publisher in this time period that kind of just sums up like what it is.
We got Silent Hill talk coming up, and then we just like have a whole weird section of just miscellaneous shit like Katamari Damacy and Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. Listener, tune back in. It's going to be a blast. When I don't have it on the books yet, guys, we're going to hit pause on this for a little bit. This might pick up in a few months, but at some point we're going to load this save point and we're going to come back in for part 3.
Make sure I don't lose my memory card.
I was gonna say, bring your 8 megabyte memory card.
Stick it in your wallet. Just keep that's where you keep it at.
Yeah.
Apparently that was real quick too. Like I maybe I just don't remember at the time, but like I guess was there like a shortage of memory cards? Like,
So they actually, it was with the PlayStation 1, there were a lot of third-party memory cards that they allowed, but when the PlayStation 2 came out, they actually they blocked third-party. Like it was like a trademark, or not a trademark, a patent thing.
big surprise.
That makes sense.
And it was like you had to buy the PlayStation 1, and it was only the 8 megabyte. All, and then they offered I don't remember, it was like a lesser than that, like PS1 version that they came out with at that point, but.
Did they have?
Yeah, because those were compatible, right? Because you could play PS1 games on your PS2. So yeah,
but you're not.
But I don't know if you could save
PS1.
That's true. Yeah,
Guys, I've lost a lot of brain cells over the years, so help me with this. When the save cards, was it like the PS1 cards where there was like a little cartoon GIF thing that would like dance?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so
Because
like
I
it would
definitely
kind of
remember
like
that
play a
for,
little
like,
animation when you scrolled over it, and
because I think of those like Symphony of the Night, it's Alucard like running, just running along with.
And you had mentioned kind of off mic before we started this, like the more games you had saved on your memory card, the blocks,
the
intro.
columns and stuff that you would see, like as you turn the PlayStation on, the PS2 on, more would populate the more like games you had played. But actually, real quick, that was reminding me the time when if you had a game that was like wasn't taken care of so well, and like the amount of times that when like I think it was one of my GTA games, like it got scratched up all to hell, and like you turn it on and you hear that thing come up, and then you just wait, and then all of a sudden you get a red screen. Like it means like the game's not right. That like tensions on certain games that I had was just like, come on. Or like,
but then you'd get 20 minutes into it and
yeah,
be like,
I don't know what this is. Yeah.
That's one thing that I am happy. Like, even though, like, even physical media, like, you're still, like, just loading the game. You're using the disc, like, one time, essentially, to load the game onto your hard drive, and then you play it. It doesn't really have to, like, run off of the disc. Like, I do appreciate that about modern gaming, but there's something about, like, just being able to pop a game in and go and not have to worry about those long
certain
download
PS1
times
games, you could, like, take it out and put, like, a music CD in. Like,
Yeah.
I'll keep playing the game and then listen to music or... Yeah.
Well, and now it's also like the ritual of it. Like there's a few TikTok channel and IGs or Instagram channels I'm subscribed to that like the whole thing is like they have reels where it's like they walk over to a wall of games, they pick one out, they pop it open, they pull the game out, they put it in, they slap the tray shut. You get to see the intro screen, and it's just like this is when like the world was good. This is when I just didn't fucking know shit and I was dumb and everything was going to be okay.
I can say some of the weight of the world this last week. Like I've been playing my PS2 so much, like to the point where eventually I moved it out into my garage. I have a projector out there and like just like nice like reclining couch that I've stuck in my garage for stupid shit like this.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like I like spent like all day like yesterday. Like I probably shouldn't say this. Like I was supposed to be working in the afternoon, but I was like I'm taking a mental health afternoon. I played Ape Escape.
Nice.
Like,
nice.
Just fucking around like catching some monkeys on the PS2.
You know what? That is a mental escape. Yeah, you 100%. I endorse this. I think you're going to get a better week out of it. If you play some Ape
I
Escape.
came back the next day feeling refreshed and I was productive.
Ready to go.
So real quick too, just to like shout out a small game. I talked to Lucretia and I was telling her I was coming on this podcast.
Shout out Lucretia.
And she wanted me to make sure that I said that she gave me this shirt, which I love.
Nice.
But she wanted me to mention the game Maximo. Do you guys remember Maximo for PS2? When she started showing me, I kind of remembered it. Honestly, it looks like Ghouls and Goblins to me, like from NES, but like a little guy, like a knight running around fighting stuff. But
Let's say, was it kind of a platformer?
I know there was two of them. It was definitely a platformer. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I definitely remember the name of this game. Hold on, I'm doing some.
so I was gonna say fulfilling my duty, Lucretia.
I totally remember the box art for this game.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is
that's-
like this weird little anime dude that's running around in armor.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I never played the game, but I definitely remember. I remember this. I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many weird games that came out on the PS2, like that we don't even have
Literally,
on this.
there's thousands of them.
There's
Yeah,
so
it's-
many. There are
yeah.
over 4,000 games
Crazy.
that were released for this console.
Yeah.
and it's ridiculous. And like I think that this was the kind of the last you still get kind of these like third party games that are like tie-ins to like weird TV shows and stuff. But there were so many of them.
Lost the game and you
You could have a whole episode just on that.
Yeah.
Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
GTA Simpsons.
See, now I liked Hit and
Which is
Run.
great. It was awesome. Yeah, it was like, hey, it was one of those games where it's like, hey, would you like to see the layout of Springfield? Yes, I would.
Yes,
It's the
right.
same way when I played the South Park game, not the Fracture But Whole, but
like the OG
Stick of
one,
Truth,
like
Stick
that
of
was
Truth.
Stick of Truth.
Okay, yeah.
And Stick of Truth was like, hey, here
Yeah,
is how
yeah.
the city of South Park is laid out. Same thing with Simpsons Hit and Run. It's like, look, this is where the Quickie Mart is. This is where the Simpsons live. Like, we are going to give you the map of the town.
What was the Crazy Taxi one called?
That
The
was
Simpsons.
Road Rage.
Road Rage,
Yeah. That came out just
Yeah.
Hit and Run was actually meant to be like it was a sequel to it, but they kind of expanded on like the whole like driving aspect of it. And we're like, fuck it, we're gonna go full on
yeah.
like
Yeah,
GTA
yeah.
ripoff. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you're not like getting hookers in your car. And
Right.
But still, best Simpsons game ever.
It was. I remember it fondly.
No, that's Simpsons Wrestling. No, I'm just kidding. God awful.
Hey, you know, Simpsons, they tried, you got to give them that. They tried a lot of different types of games. They had
Yeah.
skateboarding, wrestling,
Well,
fucking.
I mean, all the NES and Genesis games were virtual. I think Virtual Bart, was kind of fun, but yeah.
If you have a big enough license, you can just be whatever. You can
Yeah.
just throw it around and see
some
what
of them they
happens.
did okay.
Yeah, some of them they did not.
Yeah.
Better than some of the other like tie-in kind of licensed games that the PS2 put out. There was a shit. I know you guys were a lot older. I played a shit ton of SpongeBob SquarePants games on the PS2 as well, and
This
that was
tracks.
we're not going to get down that rabbit hole.
Yeah,
not at all.
But it is of that time. Yeah, again, I think it is. It is just such a massive library of games. Like looking back, I want to say I think the original Nintendo is under 1,000. I think it's like in the high hundreds.
Yeah.
But the PS2 is just
It's
4,000 plus games, dude. It's the sea. Like it's like a Scrooge McDuck money bin. Like if you had 4,000, like I think you could overfill a small pool with 4,000 different PS2
When you
games.
pointed out in the first episode, all the regions that it was released in, like, and I'm sure that just helped it explode, with developers in Russia and stuff making games for it, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what like weird Russian.
I know.
games-
I was kind of thinking that, like, what kind of weird, localized
like,
games.
some of these
Brick
consoles
face. This game called Brick Face. You take Brick Hitman in face. It's like, oh, okay, man. I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
this is the game
Well,
we're
this
playing.
was an example. I think the PS2 was one of those first consoles. Like they started region locking. Certain
Yeah.
games were kind of locked behind like
Right,
what country you resided in
Yep.
and where you were playing.
Which also with DVDs got into what movies you could
Yeah.
play.
True.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which was also like a weird thing, like having to like check on DVDs. Like the first time you get burned on that, you're like, "What the fuck is a region 2?" You
Yeah.
know?
Right. Yeah.
And you got to figure it out.
PS2, we love you, but
Yeah.
that was some shit.
Well, look, guys. Again, we're gonna make the sequel. Before we get out of here, though, Jeff, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Instagram at Jeff Kuma, JEFFKUMA, and the band Newport Secret 6 at Secret. No, screwed up again. Newport Secret number 6.
You've been in this band for 18 years. You'll eventually figure
Yeah,
out.
I know. Eventually.
the IG handle.
Old man can figure out social media.
Justin, what about you, dude?
You can find me right here on your couch tank. No, it's at JN Tyler or on the Cupful podcast. If you're listening to this, then you can just search Cupful and on whatever platform, and you'll hear me and my wife talking about fairy smut.
Nice.
So
Tune in. Listener, find me at Neil to Know on Instagram. Link trees there. You can get everything else from there. Hey, if you got a friend that's into PS2 or video games in general, send them this episode for the algorithm sucks. It just sucks. I hate dealing with the algorithm right now. Nothing is going through. So if you can just text somebody, dear God, you're helping me so much. And then let them know that there's over 160 other episodes and they're all evergreen. You can just kind of jump in wherever you want. Every episode's something different. And just, check it out. Don't do the early episodes. They're really bad. But, the later ones, I'm trying. Guys, thank you so much for coming and doing the
Thank
show.
you. Thank
and
you.
See you in a few months, and we'll do part 3, okay?
part 3 and 4 probably.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, there might be a 5th one. Listener, peace.